This is going to be a pretty short video. Um, so what I've done is copied my weather program from the previous video, weather class, and program into a file called weather.py. I did delete some stuff. Down here I had instantiated the variable and done some things with it, and I got rid of that. And there's a reason for that, because I've saved this as a Python file, and I'm going to use this Python file actually as a module. And to use it as a module is simple. You just save it as a Python file, and then any program that you write that's in the same directory can import the functionality from that file. So this right here is the file name weather. So notice it's lowercase. And if I import weather, then I can use this class that I've built in the weather.py file. So this is actually pretty much the code that I had at the bottom of my program in the previous video. We define today, and you have to use, so if I do import weather, then you have to use that name dot weather as the class. So this is how you call things from that file, weather dot, and then instantiate the class with that variable. I can still print today, but again, anytime I want to do an instantiation or use things specifically from that class using this form of import, you have to reference it. So this does, again, exactly what I had done before. So I can run this. It's going to instantiate this variable and print it out, and then because I'm not passing in parameters here, when it goes into the init, it's going to actually ask me to import those things. We've done that before. What I wanted to emphasize is, notice how this has made my function or my programming here nice, short, and easy to read. So this is the power of using object-oriented programming. We have this object weather. Weather has all this built-in functionality. You can declare the variable. It will correctly make sure that all your attributes are set. I don't have a lot of checking here. I could put checking in here to make sure that somebody actually puts in the date in the correct format. Make sure that they put in a float. I don't have any tries here to make sure that this float conversion works. Check to make sure that they put in the right kind of wind direction. So I could put all those checks in here. It has a way to print the variable out. Celsius conversion, which I don't use very much. Wind chill conversions. So all that functionality is built into that class. And then if I want to write a program that involves weather, the code is very simple. And you can actually make it a little bit simpler using an alternate form of the input statement. Instead of doing import weather, you can do from weather import star. And if you do that, it actually imports all of your class definitions and procedures and whatever that you have in weather.py, and imports them so that they're sort of directly in your code. So notice I don't have to put the weather.weather anymore. I can just reference it directly as class weather. So if you do the import this way, it just makes a little difference in how you type out your commands. But to me, the beauty of the object-oriented programming is just look how nice and tidy this is. And so I am actually going to be using a variable similar to this. I am getting ready to, I have a little Raspberry Pi. It's a little computer, and it runs a version of Python on there. And I'm going to take that Raspberry Pi and actually use it to run the heating system in my house. So I have a bunch of temperature sensors that I've bought. I'm going to hook up to the Pi. I can measure temperature in a bunch of different rooms. I can measure the temperature outside. I can wire this thing up however I want. And then I'm going to read in the temperatures. I'm going to read in humidity. And when I do that, I'm going to have a class similar to weather. I might not call it weather, but I'll have a class similar to weather that has functionality to read in those values. I'm going to have some functionality to write those values out to a database that I'm going to construct. And all that's going to be in the class, so that in my main part of my program, when I am controlling my thermostat, the main part of the program is going to be very simple because all the hard functionality is going to be built right into the class. And so that's the beauty of object-oriented programming, is taking all of that functionality and encapsulating it into one thing. All right, so hopefully you got two things out of this short little video. One is how to do an import and how to make your own module. Very simple. If we had to put this in a different directory, then we could put directory information on this file. And we could also change the path variable to Python and put this in our weather.py in the path. And the other thing is, this is sort of the reason why people like object-oriented programming. The attributes and the methods together just encapsulate all of your information and programming into one thing, and then it makes your main code nice and tidy.